Welcome to another optional lesson. We'll get to our first React hook really soon, but in this lesson, I want to do a quick review of array destructuring. Array destructuring is an ES6 feature that allows us to assign variable names to elements inside an array. And for this JavaScript-based example, we're going to stick with the Chrome console for simplicity's sake. So on a Mac machine, you can use the keyboard shortcut Command Option J, and on a Windows or Linux machine, you can use the keyboard shortcut Control plus Shift J. It should pop up something that looks like this, and you want to make sure you're navigated to the console tab right here. If for some reason the shortcut does not work for you and your screen looks like this, another way that you can access the console is by clicking this little three-dot icon, going down to More Tools and then Developer Tools. Once again, once this window pops up, you can go ahead and press Console, and that will bring you to this interactive console within Chrome. It's basically a JavaScript REPL. It's a little playground where you can just try executing sample JavaScript commands to see the outcome. And the current version of the Chrome browser, if you have an up-to-date version, supports array destructuring syntax, and we can take a look at it right here. All right, and let's begin by creating an array of random numbers. So I'm going to do const numbers, and I'm going to assign that constant to an array of a bunch of numbers, 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42, 6 random numbers. And let's say this is the challenge that I have for you. What if I wanted to extract the first two elements, or the first two numbers, 4 and 8, from this array and assign them to two different constants like first and second? Well, there's a couple ways we can do this. The more old school traditional way looks like this. We can define a constant called first, and then I can use my numbers array and use my square bracket syntax to index into a given position. So if I want the very first element in the array, which is the number 4, the first element in an array has the index position 0, because index start their count at 0. So I can assign the first constant to the first element in the array, and then if I wanted the number 8 in a constant, I can do const second, once again access my numbers array, and then use my square bracket syntax to get the index position number 1. Again, it's number 1, but it's the second position in the array. And now if I output the value of first and I output the value of second, you can see that we've extracted those elements from my numbers array and assigned them to two constants. And this is such a common operation in JavaScript that ES6 offers us the array destructuring syntax to accomplish the exact same result. So what I'm going to do here is just copy this code for declaring the array, and I'm going to refresh the page just to clear all of our constants, and I'm going to go ahead and redeclare that numbers array. So here's what array destructuring syntax looks like. What I do is I once again begin with const, but this time instead of writing a single variable name, what I do is just provide a pair of square brackets. Let me go ahead and fill in the second half of this first. So what I'm going to do here is just do equals numbers. So I'm putting the array, or the variable that holds the array, on the right side of the equal sign, and to the left, right after the const keyword, I'm writing this square brackets. Inside the square brackets, what I do is I write the names that I want to assign to my constants. And what's going to happen is JavaScript is going to see how many constants we have defined and sequentially assign those to the elements in the array. So for example, if I do something like first in here, what it's going to do is it's going to create a constant called first and assign it to the very first element in the array, which is 4. It's going to go sequentially left to right, or in other words, starting from index position 0. So because the first value in my array is 4, the first name that I assign here will be assigned to that value of 4. If I also want to assign a constant to the second value, which is 8, all I have to do is provide a comma and write whatever constant name I want to give to that. So that can be something like second, it can be something like another number. This is all arbitrary and up to me. The point here is that I'm emulating the exact same logic as we just showed a minute ago, but we're doing this all on a single line, which saves us a whole bunch of keystrokes because JavaScript is automatically going to assign those values for us. So if I want just the first two elements, I can do first and second. And again, if I output first and second, we can see we get the exact same results. So this syntax right here is identical to const first equals numbers with a bracket of 0 and const second equals numbers at an index position of 1. It just saves us a couple lines of code. And obviously you can imagine if we wanted to assign a constant to all 6 values in this array, this one-line syntax would prove a lot more efficient and optimal and save us a lot less writing. That's all there is to cover in this lesson. We talked about the array destructuring syntax. This is a brand new feature in ES6, which is the version of JavaScript first introduced in 2015. It just allows us to simplify the process of extracting one or more elements out of an array. We write const followed by the square bracket syntax, and within there we write the constant names that we want to assign sequentially to all of the elements in the array. And if we don't provide enough, for example, in this case we have 6 items in the array but only 2 constants, in that case case, JavaScript will simply take the first two and ignore the rest. That's all there's to cover in this lesson, so I will see you in the next one.